Good morning from partly cloudy Shanghai. I'm still here in Shanghai. I just finished up the final day at TCT Asia 2026, and I wanted to recap some of the coolest things, the coolest booths that I saw here at the event. And one thing that I do want to make note of is that none of this is in any particular order. Everything that I'm mentioning in this video I thought was really cool. Okay, at the Crowali booth, they had one thing that I absolutely wasn't expecting, and that was the M1 filament maker and the R1 shredder. Guys, this is brand new. It's not even on Kickstarter yet. It will be on Kickstarter. I just saw it literally 1 week ago, the advertising for it. I was not expecting to see this in person. And the M1 shredder, trust me when I tell you, I thought it was going to be slow, bad quality. I didn't think it would work, but it was actually spooling up filament very quickly. Now, in comparison to the more industrial products, obviously it would never compare, and maybe it can't spool ASA, maybe it's only PLA, PETG. I'm not sure what it can spool, but what I do know is that I saw it spooling, and it will definitely spool up PLA. If it could only spool PLA, that's probably all that matters, because personally, I don't have enough plastic waste in any material other than PLA anyway. Prior to seeing it at the event, I probably wouldn't have considered purchasing it, but after seeing it in person and seeing it actually function, it's definitely something that a high volume 3D printing user would probably make great use of. Now, Bambu Lab, they were at the event, obviously, and they didn't have any marketing for new products prior to the event that I was aware of. However, they showcased the H2D Pro. Now, what's so special about the H2D Pro is that it can print PEEK. So at the event, it was not actively printing PEEK. I want to put a big asterisk on that. It wasn't actively printing PEEK. However, I don't think Bambu Lab have really ever stated something or advertised it, marketed it, and it not actually be true. So presumably it can print PEEK. They did have parts that were printed by the H2D Pro on display, and they did have H2D Pro build plate with PEEK parts stuck to it inside the printer. Anyway, all of these massive asterisks aside, that's seriously a big game changer, because most people probably aren't going to be printing PEEK, but the people that want to print PEEK in very small scale batches for highly engineering or highly engineered projects aren't going to want to go buy a $10,000 or $15,000 3D printer to print big pieces of PEEK. So if you're a small person like you or me, or you're just some kind of a prosumer printing very low volume parts, maybe the H2D Pro might actually be for you if you need to print PEEK. Okay, we're gonna move to Elegoo, not because Elegoo had something brand new to show, but because it's the first time that I saw it in person, and that is the Centauri Carbon 2. Now, I don't really have much to say or linger or dwell on the Centauri Carbon 2. It's a 3D printer that can print multiple colors, 4 colors. Elegoo's been advertising this capability for a year and a half now. Finally, they can actually do it. What I wanted to say though is that they've kind of gone the Flash Forge model, and they have a device on the side of the printer similar to the IFS. I actually really love this design because that means you can print 4 different colors. You've got 4 Bowden tubes going directly into the nozzle, so the color switching is actually very quick. You still have full purge, so you're not saving material, but you are saving print time. Also, what the heck is the top hat on the Centauri Carbon 2? It's like 10 feet tall. It's like goofy. Okay guys, bear with me here. I'm gonna make this one quick. I took no horizontal long format content for these two, and so I'm just gonna combine them into one. And I feel so bad. How did I mess up so big on this? Flash Forge and Wondermaker. I want to talk about both of them because they're maybe actually the same printer. I don't know. So the Wondermaker, we have seen advertising for it for about 12 months now. They were supposed to be the second or third multi-tool head printers on the market. They had a whole Kickstarter, and then I heard nothing about it. I thought maybe the Kickstarter failed, maybe the printer failed after the Kickstarter, I don't know. But anyway, they were at the event. And what's so funny is the printer that they've designed, it looks almost identical to all of the most recent Flash Forge machines. So the 85, the 5M, or it's like maybe they just partnered with Flash Forge and just copied the printer? I don't know. Nonetheless, it has 4 tool heads on it. The reason I'm even telling you about Wondermaker isn't because it was super impressive or brand new. Obviously, we've seen the Snapmaker U1 before, so tool heads aren't, you know, the newest thing on the block anymore. We've seen them for 6 or 8 months now. However, I wanted to say they exist and the printer prints. But I'm combining FlashForge and Wondermaker because also FlashForge was at the event and they also, shockingly, had a multi-tool head printer. This is something that we weren't expecting, at least I wasn't expecting. Once again, I saw no advertising for it. I don't know if this was their global launch, but the FlashForge multi-tool head printer actually kind of maybe looks a little better than the U1. It looks a little more put together, a little more finished. I don't know. I'm excited to see how that one works and prints. I didn't dwell too long at the FlashForge booth because it's just another multi-tool head printer. It's very cool to watch. It is mesmerizing to watch, but beyond the fact that it's a multi-tool head printer, there was no new technology. Now this one was very, very interesting to me, and that is FiberSeeker. So FiberSeeker was, again, a Kickstarter product, and I don't even know how long ago. I think it was in 2025, but it might have actually even been 2024. However, the FiberSeeker, I never actually believed that it would be something to put into a consumer's hands. That makes sense. But I learned a lot about the FiberSeeker at this event, and I think it's something that you actually seriously might consider wanting to purchase. So everyone always wonders, oh, if you can actually afford the printer, what is going to be the operating costs of said printer? And in particular with the FiberSeeker, in your head you think, oh, okay, if I can actually choke down the $3,000 US for the actual machine, am I gonna be able to afford to print with it? And probably 9 out of 10 of you watching this video would say, no, you wouldn't be able to. And that is exactly, precisely where you would be wrong. With the FiberSeeker, the material that you print with is completely open source. You can print with PLA, PETG, ASA, ABS, any of these materials that you already own at your house, you can load it up and print with it. It can be Polymaker brand, Bambu Lab brand, Snapmaker. It doesn't matter what brand of filament. The only thing that you need to purchase from FiberSeeker is the roll of continuous carbon fiber. Now these rolls of continuous carbon fiber are about 500 meters and they cost $15. 15, that's it. Only 15. And you might be wondering, how does that compare to a roll of filament? My understanding is that a roll of filament has about 800 meters of length on it. So if you do the math, a roll of continuous fiber is meter per meter about the exact same cost as printing filament, which just blows my mind. Anyway, now after I've rambled on about that, I did want to actually mention that yes, the parts that this machine can print are shockingly, incredibly strong. I honestly cannot get it through my head how strong these parts are, especially using a material like PETG, which is so incredibly easy to print. FiberSeeker actually had some kind of a stool, like try to break me test thing at the booth. Essentially, it was on 4 pegs and you basically just slammed your foot into as hard as you possibly could and you could try to break it. And I did that, and shockingly, or rather unshockingly, or I don't know, I couldn't break it. And that was printed in PETG. Like, it wasn't solid, it was just PETG with infill, and I couldn't break it. If you want to print in a whole bunch of different colors, you could even use PLA and you could reinforce it with this continuous fiber, and the only loss that you get is the heat temp, right? PLA has a lower heat temp than PETG, so printing PLA, you're going to obviously still not be able to use it in a car or out in the heat in the middle of summer. I'm not saying that FiberSeeker is a printer for everyone. However, it's a printer for a lot more people than I would have originally guessed. Okay guys, if you have seen anything on the internet from the company called Mova Atom Form, well, you probably are gonna want to stick around to hear this one. So if you guys have seen any advertising from the company Mova, you probably want to hear this. Now I am gonna have a full length video on the Mova Atom Form Pallet 300, so check the link there. I'll try to keep this condensed. What's so special about the Mova Atom Form Pallet 300 is that it has 12 independently functional nozzles that are attached inside this machine. What that means is if you're using their RFD6, which is their 6-spool AMS machine, you now have 1 nozzle per color. In fact, you have 12 nozzles and the RFD6 only has 6 filaments in it, so you technically have multiple nozzles per color. That means you can use multiple size nozzles for finer detail or stronger printing. Or that means in the future, if it's possible, you can attach multiple RFD6s so you have 12 colors instead of 6. Now you have 1 nozzle per color. The thing that gets me hyped the most is that there are sensors inside this machine that can detect if your printer is clogged. If your printer is clogged, it will say this nozzle is no good and it will change to a new nozzle and it will never use the clogged nozzle again. So instead of clogging your printer, pausing, causing a print failure or a print error, it just uses a different nozzle and then it continues on with its day. Anyway, I hinted about it just a minute ago, but they also presented the RFD6, which is their 6-spool AMS machine. And I've been saying for so long, 4 colors is not enough. Except when Bambu Lab released the original AMS, they released it with 4 colors, so every single copy and competitor just released theirs with 4 as well. I think multicolor printing is necessary to have at least 6 colors. You can have 4 colors for color printing, plus white and black. The reason I say that is 4 colors is typically what I would put into an actual model. But then when I'm doing fine detail work like pupils or fingernails, I want white and black for stuff like that. So I'm so glad that someone has actually put a 6-spool AMS machine on the market. Again, guys, I'm gonna do a full linked video right here. So please click that link, click the link in the description and you can learn a lot more. So we've also got Snapmaker, and I actually recorded a really great video with Blaine from Snapmaker. I love Blaine. So I recorded that at the event. Let's just jump to that. All right, we are here in Shanghai at TCT Asia 2026, and I am, of course, at the Snapmaker booth with Blaine.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
Really good. Zhao Shanghai. Zhao Shanghai. There's a dumb joke we got. Okay.
Yeah. Tell me everything new about Snapmaker with the U1 and everything else you got going on.
Absolutely. So I hope this video comes out after March 24th, because that day we're going to release all this information.
All right.
April 10th. U1 is in stock worldwide. Order it, get it, same day. Awesome, or very soon after.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this after March 24th, but before April 10th, it's your last chance to pick it up at $849 because the price also goes up on the in-stock day.
Okay, that's still cheap though.
It's still cheap. $899.
Yeah, order now. Order now.
Order now. Link in the description, right?
Yeah, link in the description, of course.
Cool. Second piece of news, we got 15 new colors of filament.
Okay.
Matte PLA and Snap Speed PLA, 15 new colors coming out, which is exciting.
That's pretty exciting.
And really cool, there's going to be a firmware update on March 24th to all the U1s, and it's going to not only improve the machine itself and its functionality, but it's also going to add 30 pre-embedded, ready-to-print, click-to-print models right on the machine.
And those are going to be multi-color models as well.
Multicolored, beautiful models, a bunch from designers a bunch made in-house, and some new designers that you can look up their information in their descriptions when you go click-to-print.
So these are professional models that people don't have to pay for, right?
Exactly. Free models built into your machine, ready to go, click to print.
Wow, that's a lot of news for Snapmaker in 2026.
Woohoo, that's right. So pick it up now, rock on, and we got a lot more development of the ecosystem and everything maturing this year to make it just easier to use for everyone.
Awesome, cool. Hey, I got one more question.
Yes.
Is there anything you can tell us about new accessories that might be coming in 2026?
0.2s, 0.6s, 0.8s. I think we got some more hardened sizes.
New nozzles.
As well. New nozzles,
okay.
New nozzles coming out. We got the top cover. It's taking forever, I know, but it's coming out. Don't worry, we're making it perfect. Perfect just for you. That's
there we go.
Yeah, cool. That's 2020,
awesome.
2026. Ecosystem development.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Blaine.
Real pleasure, man.
Yep.
Cheers.
Okay. Hightem 3D has been in my email inbox for months, and I have been ignoring it and continually ignoring it because I do not want to promote AI modeling on my channel. However, big however, after seeing what Hightem 3D can produce and seeing their models on display, I am so incredibly mind blown. I cannot believe how freaking cool it actually is. The way this works is you present a 2D image. If you present one front-facing 2D image, it can make a full 360-degree AI model. But if you want to actually provide a 2D image for the side and the back profile, you can do that as well, and then it will use all of those 2D images to stitch together a more complete, more accurate 360-degree 3D model. So of course we could spend all day talking about if AI modeling detracts and takes away from the artists that are actually slaving away on an iPad sculpting for hours and hours every day. And sure, that is a topic to be had, but it's not a topic to be had in this video. I just cannot believe what Hightem 3D was actually able to produce. And guys, this isn't a particular brand that was advertising. This is the 3D Genius Hub. The 3D Genius Hub is someplace, well, you know what, actually, I recorded this at the event. Go cut to that. Welcome to the 3D Genius Hub here in Shanghai at TCT Asia. Guys, this is the corner where all of the small creators will come and share their custom print files, their little projects, everything cool, things that you or me would like to share with the world. I'm gonna take you on a tour. Let's go. Now, what about the hello corner? Of course, over here is where you're gonna see all of the different creators that have been invited to the event. And there's someone very special right here. I made the wall. Isn't that cool? What I love about the 3D Genius Hub is that it's a place for makers to actually showcase what they've done. If you are a maker like you or me, you're not a big brand, you're not selling something, you've just worked on a very cool project and you think it's, stands out above everyone else, you could put your project or your design inside the 3D Genius Hub. Small makers have only a small amount of ability to actually showcase their work, and whether you're trying to break into the market in order to sell stuff in the future, or if you just think what you've done is cool and you want to show the world, the 3D Genius Hub is kind of the place to do it. The 3D Genius Hub is actually, it's a space that is dedicated by the event organizers so that makers like you or me can go and show our work. We can go and we can meet other makers or other creators and just a nice, quieter space to hang out. The 3D Genius Hub has cool things from personal design projects to even things like electric guitars that are functional. Super cool. They put on a ring toss, and actually I played the ring toss. Cut to that video right here. What's going on, everyone? Over here on my right side is the ring toss game. Now guys, I played this, but at all of these TCT events, TCT Asia, TCT Shenzhen, there's a 3D Genius Hub and there's something fun to show at all of them. Here, it's a ring toss game. This is fun. You can pay 5 RMB, and if you get enough rings, you win cool prizes. So that's the ring toss. What's great about the ring toss is that if you pay, was it like 50 cents or something tiny like that, and you throw the rings and you win, you could win a poly dryer or whatever other prizes that they were giving away. The 3D Genius Hub even had an espresso machine, super cheap espresso, and they somehow, in some way, I have no idea how, they burned in TCT Asia into my foam on top. That was pretty cool. I've got a picture of it right here. Anyway, the 3D Genius Hub is a fun place to go and just relax, where it's not so high pressure. You don't feel pressured to listening to a salesperson or whatever else. Anyway guys, that was TCT Asia 2026. I always love attending these events, seeing the latest and greatest tech. If you guys enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you would drop a comment down below what you thought was the coolest thing at the event. Maybe leave a like and a subscription down below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video.